Thank you. Welcome in. Okay, I think we're gonna get started. I think that we have a people will come on in. So hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us today for Enhancing Your Title Listings 102. This is our second webinar in our Marketer Summer Lunch series, which is a set of mini virtual sessions designed for publishers who want to learn how to use Edelweiss to make their titles stand out and reach buyers. My name is Gabriella Costa, and I'm a Client Success Manager here at Edelweiss, focusing on education. My role involves creating educational resources and content for our users, as well as planning sessions like this. So don't hesitate to send feedback my way at the end of the webinar. A few housekeeping items before we get started. My fellow Client Success Manager, Shana Mahler, is here today to help monitor the chat. So feel free to post your questions, comments, or just say hi. We will also leave some time at the end to do a Q&A, during which we'll be joined by Jenn Northington, our Advertising and Promotions Manager, who will help tackle your questions about the content we've covered. Lastly, this webinar will be recorded, and we will be sharing the recording with all of you and all the other registrants. So an agenda. In our last session, we covered those quick enhancements to your titles that do not need any additional materials or artwork. This session is for those of you who want to take the next step. We will be showing you some ideas for additional collateral that you can add to your title listings to take them to the next level. We will also go through some of our advertising options that you could take advantage of once you have some artwork, and which you can use to reach influential book people. A very quick note before we jump in: don't feel like you have to memorize everything we talk about today. This session is designed to take you through this information at a high level and to give you some ideas and guidance on what is possible on Edelweiss. So take notes on ideas that excite you, and we'll make sure to include how-to resources in the chat throughout the session and in the post-webinar email. These resources will include a training page created to complement this webinar series, which will have self-paced learning materials for all the topics covered. If you'd like, you can scan the QR code on this slide to open that right now, but there's no need to rush. We'll put it in the chat and we'll send it to you after. But I'll pause for a little bit just so you can scan that code. Okay, I'm going to move on. So first up are metadata enhancements. By this, we're talking about supplemental materials you can add to support and flesh out your title listings on Edelweiss. So Edelweiss can display embedded videos as well as links to a variety of materials, and these can be sent to us via Onyx, or you can manually add them to titles. I've collected and will go through some ideas of what publishers have been adding to their listings, but we always encourage your creativity. So let's talk about videos. Here is an example of a title listing to which a publisher has added a video. Now, I've zoomed in a little bit on the video here so you can see it better, but videos display right here on their own section under a title listing, and they could be YouTube or Vimeo links. So in this example, we're seeing an author interview, but something that's really common that we see is book trailers, and they're awesome every time. Now, videos go under their own tab, but if you have other supplemental materials like links or docs or PDFs, those will be listed in a link section under the content part of a title listing. So content right here, and here's the link section. This is a very flexible area that can be populated in any way you see fit, but what I'm going to do is show you some pretty effective uses we've seen. So first, publishers have used this area for additional marketing collateral, especially elements building awareness of an author. So this can be links to an author's social media, but one idea we really love is the inclusion of author letters here. So I'm showing you on this slide an example of a great letter for Jennifer Aniston's very cute looking picture book. And here's an additional example of an author letter. I wanted to show you this second one, not only because I just love that this is an ode to booksellers, but also to show that these letters can be simple Word docs if you don't have the bandwidth to style them like that previous example, but still want to build a connection between your author and book readers or buyers. Should I send you the same? And here's a second idea of what marketing materials can be included here, which is a sell sheet for a book. So here the publisher has put together a sell sheet for their title that outlines praise and awards, as well as details of the marketing and publicity campaign for the book. In addition to these marketing materials, we encourage publishers to consider adding educational documents, which can be used to support teachers, reading groups, and librarians who are working with your titles. So here is an absolutely fabulous educator guide that Sourcebooks added to one of their titles. It includes teacher activities, discussion questions, student activities, cross-curricular connections, and additional resources to complement the book. And I'm returning to the House in the Cerulean Sea for an example of a reading group guide, which is added to this title listing, and it shares some very meaty discussion questions for readers. Again, these are just some examples of marketing and educational materials that we have seen publishers taking advantage of to elevate their title listings. But we welcome you to experiment and be creative with the section, and our support team is always there to support you getting things loaded into that link section. Next up, I wanted to share some popular advertising options that you could take advantage of once you have some marketing assets for your titles. So today I'm going to talk about title banner inserts, banner ads, and dedicated eBlasts. Before diving in, I want to share some information on why you might want to advertise with us on Edelweiss. We really are the central hub for the book industry, with a large mix of booksellers, librarians, reviewers, readers, and publishers, all using Edelweiss to market, sell, discover, and order new titles. Our platform has over 1 million page views per day, and our newsletters boast higher than industry average open rates and include varying types and sizes, with everything from user-specific lists to verified professional community lists like the ABA, Library Reads, and Barnes & Noble. Now, you may have noticed that many of the title listings we have shown thus far in this webinar have had those banner images above them. These are title banner inserts, which once booked appear atop the title throughout Edelweiss in whichever markets the book appears in. So we like to say they follow the book throughout Edelweiss. We always recommend these to publishers looking to dip their toes into Edelweiss advertising because, as you can see from this GIF, they're so attention-grabbing when you scroll through a title list or catalog. And beyond that, they signal to the user that the publisher is excited and invested in the book. Really effective title banner inserts usually include a call to action. So that's why I have that example of Creation Lake, telling viewers who see the banner to consider the book for Indie Next, or maybe you are announcing that a DRC is now available. And what's cool about these title banner inserts is that even though the listing is right there, many people try to click on the insert. So adding a link will boost engagement even more. And one of the best parts about booking a title banner insert is once it's purchased, the artwork can be swapped out whenever you'd like to keep it current. Here are some more examples, and I just wanted to include these to show the fun possibilities of making title banner inserts GIFs. I think that these are some great examples of creative uses of title banner inserts. Now, if you've created artwork for a title banner insert, you might consider also booking a banner ad in one of Edelweiss's newsletters. Every Monday, we send our weekly greeting newsletter to our largest list of over 100,000 users interested in titles in the US trade market. The newsletter includes links to all the new review copies and catalogs posted on Edelweiss within the past week, and it boasts open rates of 30% on average. Our top banner in this newsletter, which publishers can book, has our highest CTR of all banner products with a click rate of 8%. In addition to the weekly greeting, Edelweiss has several newsletters that are tailored towards certain audiences and just packed full of product updates, training tips, and other news. So these include monthly newsletters to booksellers, librarians, and Barnes & Noble employees, and bi-monthly emails to ABA members and Library Reads members. And publishers can reserve banner ads in any of these newsletters. So the average click rate of the top banners in these emails is 6%. Last, but certainly not least, I want to talk about our dedicated eBlasts. So these eBlasts give publishers the opportunity to reserve a dedicated newsletter and get their message out to the book world in style. We send out a large linked image created by your team to our full list of over 100,000 subscribers, or to a selected targeted list based on genre or professional affiliation. So as in the example on the left, they typically highlight one book and link to one book, but you could also use these to advertise a selection of titles. And in that case, you would link to a collection or catalog on Edelweiss. Our eBlasts perform extremely well with an average 40% open rate and 8% CTR. Okay, so before we tackle the Q&A, here are a few QR codes that will allow you to subscribe to any relevant newsletters and to download our marketing kit. Subscribing to newsletters is a great way to see how others are advertising and to get a feel for your newsletter options with Edelweiss. If you're not already, be sure to subscribe to our Publisher Marketing Professionals email list to learn advertising tips and to be the very first to know about special promotions and discounts you might be running on advertising. And our marketing kit has all the pricing for the options that I've outlined today and extra information on everything Edelweiss advertising. And once again, don't worry if you miss these or you don't have your phone near you, they'll also be shared in the post-webinar email. Okay, now I'm going to invite Jenn, our Advertising and Promotions Manager, to join me to help tackle any questions you might have. So start sending them in the chat if you haven't already, while Jenn just gives a brief introduction to herself.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Jenn Northington. I see some familiar names in the chat. Some of you might know me from other hats I've worn in publishing. I worked as a bookseller for around 10 years. I worked at Riot New Media for around 10 years. And now I am the Advertising and Promotions Manager here at Edelweiss. And I'm a data nerd. So the thing that I have done as I started this job was dive into all of the stats and performance details and just knowing as much as I can about how our ad products are performing and what might work the best for people. So that's where I'm coming from. And yeah, I'm excited to help people find things that work well for them.
Awesome. So one question that I know we frequently get is that people are interested in booking maybe a banner ad, but they don't have the creative ready. Like, is that something people can do, book something without having all the materials ready to go?
Yes, absolutely. You can go into the advertising center and reserve your spot, and then you can upload the creative later. So you want to usually do it by a week before the placement is going to run, especially for newsletters, because those are getting ready and created and you don't want to miss your window. And to upload, you just go back to the advertising center. There will be an upcoming button in the upper right hand corner and you click that.
Awesome. I see someone was asking if we have like look insides or something like that already exists. We have, and I know this is you currently have DRCs. Beyond that, I think we would encourage you to upload internal images. I don't know if that's exactly what you're looking for. Do you have any other advice, Jenn? I think that's probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, there's the Edelweiss reader for if there's a DRC
That's
available.
definitely worth talking
so
about,
like
yeah.
that's sort of like a look inside. But if you're talking about just like, preview of the first few pages, yeah, I think people generally will maybe upload a PDF selection in the external links section. I do see a question in the Q&A, is there a way to advertise for ARCs specifically? So a lot of the ad products would work really well for that. It kind of depends on your goals, right? Like, are you trying to get them in front of reviewers, or you want to get them in front of book buyers or librarians for ordering purposes, or you want to get them in front of everyone? But a lot of the placements are very flexible. So you can make the CTA pretty much anything you want, including, download a DRC, and then you can link directly to that DRC if you want to. So there's definitely a lot of options. And Audrey, I'll put my email in the chat, so you can also hit me up and we can talk more about that if you want.
Seeing Brandy asks, is it more common to upload individual interior images of a book or to upload a PDF with a selection as a link? Is one better than the other? don't think one is better than another. Um, I think I see individual interior images uploaded, like for image heavy books, it's nice to have them uploaded as interiors, especially because when people are browsing our site, they can set those images to already be visible. And I just think it's very eye-catching, like if you're looking at cookbooks or picture books, to see get a feel for the book as you're scrolling. Um, and Jen, do you have any thoughts on that? That's just my
Yeah.
gut, but it's
I,
worth, yeah.
I don't think we have data, and I have not been here for long enough to know what's more common. Quite frankly, I started full time in July, but I do think it sort of depends on your goals. Again, if you are aiming to catch the eyes of buyers, readers, etc., you'll probably have better luck with a selection of individual interior images, especially if it's like a coffee table book, a picture book, something that's illustration heavy, comics, etc. But if it's like prose book, I would do a PDF. So again, different types of books, different types of goals.
Okay, and so Vicky had asked, when posting video links, any benefit to posting as a regular link type generic versus selecting the video type video? This is, yeah, getting into how you can upload videos versus links, and choosing the video type is what's going to embed the video right on the title listing. So we recommend that for videos.
I see another marketing question in the Q&A from Jana. Hopefully I said that correctly. We publish only in the skilled trades, machining, welding, maintenance, and reliability. That's very cool. What marketing ideas do we have that are targeted specifically to our customers? That's an interesting question. Targeting by user community is one option. We do have a lot of user community lists, and you could go as broad as nonfiction, but we also have more niche communities. And so we could take a look and see what those are. You can also see them listed in the marketing kit that the link is in there. So I think a targeted email to a user community, either via, if there's like a newsletter that goes out to that community. So for example, our professional affiliations have like a monthly or bi-monthly newsletter. And then the user communities, you can do a dedicated eBlast. And I see another question from Chris. How do I get my DRC to the front of your Monday list? A recent DRC I set up was literally last on your list. So the Monday list, you can do a featured title is the only way to guarantee that it's going to be in there, because the sort of organic results are organized by what users are downloading and looking at. So, that's just behind the scenes black box. Like you don't know what users are going to be interested in any given moment necessarily. But if you want to make sure it's in there, you can do the featured title. And that's really easy. You don't need any extra creative. It just takes literally the cover of the book and pops it right in that top section of that Monday email. So that's the best way to do that.
And I see,
yeah.
oh, go ahead. I was just saying, I think that's a good answer for Amy's question about if there are other ways to boost DRCs, but I don't know if you want to talk more about that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Featured titles are a great way to boost DRCs. Again, eBlast to specific communities. There's lots of different things in the marketing kit that could work that you can, sort of shape to fit your CTA goals. So again, shoot me an email. We can talk more specifics about your titles. And then Eve, how do you make it a featured title? It's in the advertising center. So if you go to advertising.edelweiss.plus, actually, I take it back. There's 2 ways to get to it. Shayna will drop the help document, I think, so that it's really clear and I don't mangle the description as I'm talking out loud. So, but we have instructions for that and you will get them. Okay. And then Audrey is asking, how do you find the breakdown of clicks from banners versus newsletters? So this is an interesting question. We're actually going to release an update to the advertising center, hopefully soon. We're just working out a few bugs that will give you information, including CTR, impressions, open rates, etc., for placements that you have booked. So you'll be able to go into the advertising center, click on the reporting tab, and like see how things went. You can also see, obviously, if you look at a certain title in your view, you can see clicks and things, but that doesn't tell you where they came from, right? So you'll be able to see that data in the Advertising Center. Soon, hopefully soon. We'll send out an announcement in the publisher email and in the publisher marketing email. So if you're subscribed to either of those, you'll know.
But if you're not subscribed to the publisher marketing email,
yes, you should definitely. That's where I'm dropping like my regular ideas for these things. We just rebooted it. It'll be 2 times a month. Tiffany, yeah, again, I don't want to speak specifics because again, finding new bugs is like hopefully we found them all, but we want it to be good before we release it and make sense to you. So soon is the best I can do for exact timing.
Are there any other questions? We get, if you have a question that comes to you after this session, I know Jen put her email in the chat, but you can also, I'll go to the next slide so you could copy it down. Hold on. Reach out to our marketing email address with any and all questions, and someone will be so happy to get you answers, get you training materials, whatever you need. Just making sure, see, did we hear an answer to Brandy Lamont's question? Let me remind myself what that was. Yes, this is a question about, is it more common to upload individual interior images of a book or upload a PDF with selections of link? We don't have like particular data about that, but if you have an image heavy book, it probably would be nice to upload individual interior images so that way they're more visible on the title listing, because the PDF will put it as one entry under the links section. Okay. All right. Think we're all set. Thank you so much for sharing your lunch, if it's your lunchtime, with us. It's been wonderful to talk to you about these opportunities and hear your questions. And again, if anything comes up after the session, we are so very happy to receive your questions at marketingabovethetreeline.com. All right, thank you again, everyone. Have a great rest of your days.